Last time on Fixing the Money Thing.
While our marriage seemed happy when we had plenty of money, it's funny how when the money issues start, the cracks start to show up.
Well, we did actually have an argument once about who it was that was going to kill themselves, and it was just so bizarre that I'm like, no, you need to stay because the kids need you. No, they need you because you're their mom. I mean, it's bizarre.
And today,
We actually began to almost be on a treasure hunt, finding where we were overspending. I will do anything I can to keep anyone who calls in from having to walk through the literal hell on earth that Mindy and I walk through.
we're fighting a war on debt. Today on Fixing the Money Thing. With most families burdened in unsustainable levels of personal debt, most Americans believe there is no way to have financial freedom. However, author, pastor, and financial expert Gary Keesee believes most families can be completely out of debt in less than 7 years.
You must get out of debt. You've got to make right choices with your money right now.
Gary and his wife Drenda are now on a crusade to share this information that changed their life so that you can not just survive, but prosper in today's economy.
Your life can be totally transformed by an idea in the marketplace.
This is Gary Keesee, Fixing the Money Thing.
Welcome to another edition of Fixing the Money Thing. I'm Gary Keesee, and if you missed yesterday's program, go to our website, GaryKeesee.com, and pull it up. War on Debt's the title, Part 1. This is Part 2. And the reason I say that is because the story you're hearing is absolutely amazing. I have with me Steve and Mindy Higgins, who were so distraught over their debt, losing their business, that they literally tried to pull straws who would commit suicide that day. You know, who's going to be left behind to take care of the kids, who's checking out. I mean, this is true, that desperate. And now their marriage is restored. They're on a journey of financial freedom. An amazing story you've got to hear. So go to Part 1. But now let's pick up Part 2, where Steve was telling us that after all of that chaos, Steve, all those years, first God had to deal with you spiritually and your journey to discover God's love and His encouragement. Then your marriage was healed and you began to work as a team. And then I asked you, okay, how's this impacting your finances? Now, you were a builder, a very successful builder. You had $500,000 in savings, everything going great. The economy crashed in 2008. You lost all your money, you lost your business. Everything, laid your 88 employees off, closed your factory down, found yourself in that desperate state. But now things are moving the right direction. And I asked you, when you had 21 open credit accounts plus mortgages and all kinds of stuff, I said, did you ever think you could be out of debt? And you said no.
Right.
But then you told me that through some wisdom, you found out that you could be out of debt by making some changes in 5 years, including the mortgage. Now, that's where we left our viewers yesterday. So we want to pick that story up. Steve, are you nuts? I mean, 5 years, no one pays their mortgage off in 5 years, Steve. I mean, everyone's going to have a mortgage forever, right?
Right. Well, I mean, for years, it was a badge of honor to have a mortgage, sometimes 2 mortgages, And, but basically, there was no hope. We were hopeless. We didn't see a plan for it. But after meeting with our Ford Financial Group money coach, they laid out a blueprint.
Now, this is a company that is in business to help people get out of debt.
That's correct.
And to share the kingdom of God. And so you got with them. And what did you think when they came back to you and you said, it's hopeless, but they walk in and say, well, it's not really that hopeless. In 11 years, you can be out of debt. On the initial plan, you said it was like winning the lottery or something.
Oh, yeah. They almost had to strap us in our chairs. We were ecstatic. We were just going nuts because we had hope again. Where we had checked out and felt things were over, even just the words, hearing it was possible was exciting. But I had to see it too, because I need to see
You're a business guy.
I need to see the written proof of this. And, and that's what they done is they literally laid out a structured plan, step by step, month by month, very much like a blueprint. Like I build homes with blueprints, this was a written blueprint, showed us exactly.
Now you were very
being out of debt.
skeptical because you said as a business person, you said they're not going to find anything here. This is what I do for a living. I juggled numbers, built buildings.
Right.
And so they came back and showed you that. And then you said you did some changes and it dropped from 11 down to 5 years to have everything paid off, including your mortgage. So everyone wants to know, Steve, what you did. Okay, so how did you what did you do to get out of debt in 5 years? What are you doing?
Sure. Well, there's really 2 parts to it. I mean, there were spiritual principles that week in, week out, we were learning. Once we had kind of got the idea that this is the place for the directions, and really the reason I knew this was the directions on a weekly basis is we began to attend church, and we heard your story, we heard stories of others. You can fake a lot of stuff, but you can't fake the fruit. You can't fake the evidence.
True.
I saw the way that your wife looked at you, and I said, I want my wife to look at me that way. I saw your children and how they were running in the ministry, as well as some with their own things going on the side as well. I saw other families, successful business people, successful marriages, and I said, I want that. So that just caused us to submit and just say, you know what, we're going to submit to God, we're going to submit to this process, and we're going to start learning. So we tapped into resources. We tapped into the Now 2.0 revolution. We tapped into tithing offense. A lot of different resources.
These are just some CD series of instruction that we have.
Yeah, and all that was the spiritual principles that we'd never heard before. They might have been taught to us before, but we just had never heard them before.
Now, Mindy, let's go back. When you heard you could be out of debt, that there was hope, how did it affect you?
I thought it sounded too good to be true. And to find out that I found out about the plan, and how much is this going to cost us? And it's actually no charge, which totally it blows your mind. But it is. It gave us hope, and we saw it right in front of us. And so all that did for us is it made us want to make it less time, because here, this is possible. We'll just add another 50 on it. Let's add another. And the more we started paying things off, it's amazing.
So when you saw the 5, you keep whittling down. So what did you whittle down? Let's go through what kind of, first thing you do is a budget, right?
Right.
And I know that the money coach you worked with said, okay, the budget that you're going to give me is bogus. It's not going to be worth anything, because that's traditionally what happens. People do a budget and they just do an imaginary budget. But what did they tell you to do with the budget?
Right. They told us we should do a 3-month look back. And that was really important. And it's right in your book as well, Fixing the Money thing. But, because their spiritual side was great, but okay, let's get down to it. And that's where the practical element, we had to participate. Yes. This wasn't going to be a situation where we just go to church and pray for God to fix stuff and it's going to get fixed. You made that perfectly clear. We already have everything. We just have to do our part. We have to step into it. So we agreed we're going to do a budget. But the idea of agreeing to do a budget and us confronting each other realistically was a different kind of challenge.
What do you mean confronting each other?
The 3-month look back was not happy. It was not a good thing. It's when you go back 3 months and you through your bank accounts and you mark down what it is you spend everything on, which I didn't want to do. We had separate bank accounts because I didn't want him to know I went to Kohl's or I went here and got something for the kids. I didn't want him to know that. So it was much easier for me to not even have to bring it up if he doesn't see my account. So what this caused us to do was to go back and find out where we were spending so much money that we didn't need to spend. Because although it was paycheck to paycheck, it was kind of more like spending to spending. If we had it, we spent it. And we didn't even have it and we spent it. But so this was a real right in your face. You can't argue with what you yourself spent.
So that's right there on paper.
Right.
And did that kind of bring a little bit of discussion to bear in the marriage then, probably?
It did, but surprisingly, I thought we're going to go right back where we started. That this is going to be a disaster. This is going to be World War III. And it wasn't. We agreed going into it. We said there's going to be no condemnation. I'm not going to judge how many times and judgment is really what she felt.
That's why I didn't want to go through the bills, because I didn't want him to say anything about where I spent money at. And then I would come back and say, well, you went to Panera how many times?
Right. And then we just start this back and forth thing, and it goes nowhere. So we agreed there's going to be no condemnation of this. We're going to go into this. I'm not going to judge you where you spent money. You're not going to judge how many times I went to expensive lunches. We're just going to agree going in. And so because we set those ground rules, we actually started getting excited. Oh, wait, I spent some money here too. And so we actually began to almost be on a treasure hunt, finding where we were overspending.
It makes you more conscious of
So how much money did you find in your budget that was just wasteful?
Right. Our initial run at it was over $1,200.
So you found $1,200 that you didn't have to spend, that was just wasted money when you did the 3-month look back.
That's correct.
And so then that's a lot of money, Steve, $1,200 a month.
And you could have never convinced me we had $1,200. Remember, the first time the question was asked, how much could I apply towards getting out of debt? I said $50, because that's all I felt that we had. But when we really took the time to look at things, we could very easily see we had our head in the sand. We just didn't want to know. We were actually making ourselves feel good with some of these expenses.
Yeah, that's true.
So it was bad.
Now, since then, to make a long story short, you have since actually come on board and working now at Ford Financial Group, actually running the company. And how many people do you think find that same kind of conclusion, that there's a lot of money in their budget that they have no idea is there?
Yeah, most everybody finds some element of fat. 90% of the folks are shocked. They're shocked by how much they find, if they do the honest approach. You know, a lot of folks, they don't want to really face that, but the ones that go through that process and do that budgeting and really analyze where they're spending their money, 90% of them come out shocked by how much money they're overspending.
It's a good kind of shock. It's
Sure.
money that can now help you get out of debt. Well, we're going to come back in a minute, Steve. We're going to jump a little bit deeper into this plan and even more money that you found. And that's how we got this thing down from 30-year mortgage and all those 21 credit accounts wiped out in 5 years without changing your income, but simply rearranging your income. That's incredible. So stay with us. As we come back, we're going to talk more about finding lost money and getting out of debt.
We'll continue to fight the war on debt right after this. Today's resources from Fixing the Money Thing are designed to revolutionize your financial life, start you living the life God has planned, and of course, fix your money thing. Are you living your dream? Or is debt causing you to trade your joy for paying the creditors? Then it's time for a financial revolution.
Are you in debt or living paycheck to paycheck? Then I would suggest you may need a financial revolution.
Today's package starts with the all-new Financially Free Workbook, a practical how-to guide filled with step-by-step instructions for collecting the data you need for your free Get Out of Debt plan, forms, and worksheets. The kit also includes a DVD from Gary, walking you through the workbook steps to financial freedom.
This workbook will take you step by step through the process to get your family free.
You can't truly experience success if you're burdened by debt. Call, write, or go to GaryCassie.com, and for only $29, get the Financially Free Workbook and a new CD from Gary Cassie. In Your Answer is in the Kingdom, you can learn to live a life full of provision, free from debt, where you're able to be generous on every occasion. Your answers are in the kingdom of God.
The Bible clearly says that we are to be the lenders, not the borrowers, the head, not the tail, and that there must be something we're missing.
You just need to know how His kingdom operates and how to walk in it.
The answer is Luke chapter 6, verse 20. It's your answer too. Blessed are you who are poor, for yours is the kingdom of God.
Join Gary as he shares this powerful message on CD, full of stories, humor, personal experiences, and scriptures that illustrate the practical and proven principles you need to understand how to unlock the kingdom in your life. Get ready to have your eyes open to what it really means to live in the kingdom of God.
Until you stop the debt trap and stop living according to the world system, you're not going to be free.
Call 888-391-LIFE. That's 888-391-5433. Visit GaryCassie.com or write to Faith Life Now, P.O. Box 779, New Albany, Ohio 43054 to order the Financial Revolution Package, Financially Free Workbook, Instructional DVD, and Your Answer is in the Kingdom message for only $29 or more in support of Faith Life Ministries. Remember, God's system isn't instant. Success in the kingdom of God happens one small decision at a time. Make the decision to give yourself the best possible start toward achieving financial success. Don't waste any time. Call, write, or log on now to get your financially free resources to help you destroy debt and start living free.
Welcome back to Fixing the Money Thing, and we are having a great time talking about finding money. Steve and Mindy Higgins are with me. They came out of a devastating blow to their life financially, spiritually, and in their marriage when in 2008 their business crashed and they were left losing everything. And then God helped you rebuild, of course, first your spiritual life, then your marriage, and now, of course, financially. An amazing story. You had 21 open accounts, a mortgage, and then the process we're talking about today is he has it down to 5 years, completely out of debt, including his mortgage, and we want to know how that happened, okay? So we just talked about the budget, and we found that you were, $1,200 in the budget that you found was wasted money.
That's correct.
And that was basically in the food area, right? Just the restaurants, food, entertainment.
Right.
Was
Well,
that-
there was a lot of different areas that make up that $1,200, but food happened to be one where
big
we,
one of the
yeah,
biggest
where we
ones.
were dysfunctional in what we were spending in food, and that's where that look back, that
So
three.
give me a
that
couple
budget.
other ideas where you found money at.
Sure. Well, the money coach went through it, and one of the things was refinancing. We didn't think we were eligible to refinance. We'd had financial issues, but there a program that's out there that was called HARP enabled us to
Yep,
do
sure.
a super streamlined refinance. There was a lot of paperwork, and even today when I hear that brought up to people, a lot of people don't want to do the paperwork. Well, they're providing a pretty good benefit to us. In our case, it freed up about $410 by refinancing our mortgage, and it didn't cost us a dime. We just went back through our lender, again, filled out a lot of paperwork, went through the process numerous times, but it's freed up a lot of money, $410 in our case. Taxes. We were,
that's a big one.
you know, we were getting a big refund check at the end of the year. In fact, we counted on that refund check. We used to count on it as our fund money that we would take
Mm-hmm.
a little trip on or something. Now we've been resorted to where that was our resource money. We were relying on that money to be there to catch bills up. And
Yeah.
and little did we know, even though I thought, again, I ran a mortgage company, I'd been in financial services before, I thought I knew what I was doing, and here I was loaning the IRS over $250 a month that they were paying me 0% interest on. So not very wise.
Yeah, you know,
So,
probably 2/3 of the population get a refund check.
Right.
And are glad for it, like you said. But that money can be moved back into their monthly cash flow and attack debt.
Exactly. One that I thought was going to be a bit of a challenge for us was canceling cable. And
Why is that?
Well, because that's kind of where we ran to. We ran to our opposing rooms and escaped from life.
Opposing rooms, okay.
You know?
Yeah, we
And-
did.
and-
We also don't like to watch the same things.
Right. And so we thought that was going to be a tough one. And I'm not saying it wasn't a little bit of a challenge at first, but once we got rid of it, we found we had a lot more time.
Yeah,
Time
sure.
for each other, time for family, and we started wasting that time and investing in other things that became productive for us. So canceling cable was a big one. And at first we were just going to reduce the package, but we wound up cutting the whole thing off, and we still don't have cable. So don't have.
And
any
you
interest in it.
survived.
Yes.
Great decision.
Good decision. Okay, go on.
Sure. Another one was changing our homeowners insurance. I had a policy that, without knowing it, increased every year, assuming that the property value was going up. In our case, the property value had dropped by 27%.
So did probably most people's.
Yeah, oddly enough, the insurance company just kept raising that amount, and my home was actually insured for more than twice than what it was actually cost to replace. So we just simply, we called the agent, made some adjustments there. That freed up $800 a year, or about $67 a month.
That's right.
So that was a big savings that was brought to our attention. Other different types of things that have come to play, changing our auto insurance, having that analyzed, just double checking. Things that I did for
yeah.
years as a builder to always shop. For some reason in our daily life, we just take whatever's thrown at us and accept it as good. And so we also made some changes in our life insurance packages and some things that had opened our eyes there. So in total, like I said, the actual number of monthly savings was $1,273. And again, this is when I thought we had $50 to apply towards getting out of debt.
So then that money you already had, didn't know you had. I mean, you knew you had it, but you didn't know it was you could
Right.
grab it. That began to pay the debt off, and then that collapsed time frames to that 5-year mark where everything's paid off. I mean, 5 years isn't that long to have everything paid for, mortgage paid
I
for.
wish we knew 5 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty amazing.
Right.
And so you were so impressed with this plan that you then accepted a position at Ford Financial Group, because to you, it was a crusade
Yes.
to help families like your family was helped.
Yes.
Sure.
Mindy, what'd you think about that?
It was definitely, it was God's calling, because it's definitely what we're supposed to be doing. We want to help everybody, and that's why we went through what we went through, because we understand the chain that debt puts around you and how much it robs you of being with your kids and doing things that you want to do. And so this is real, and it does work, and the freedom that you have when you're out of debt,
It's huge.
There's no comparison.
Yeah. Now, Steve, of course, we've worked together now for several years on this in the Ford Financial Group business, and you've helped hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people with the same challenges you have, and that's probably, like you said, very rewarding. But we found a snag. We found that people think that's too good to believe, that they will not follow through. They just believe what you just told me, Steve. I don't think that could happen. How many people do you think that you talk to that this could be a reality?
Everyone.
Again, it really, in one way or the other, everyone. But the majority of the families, at least 80, 90%, if they apply what's in here, they're going to have the same results. You know, God's no respecter of persons. You taught us that, and the fact is, I see it played out time and time again. And the challenge is getting people from the point of knowing to actually doing. And that's true of a lot of things in life. But.
You know, amazing. I want to add the story along that line. One of the ways we find money, now you mentioned several areas, but we found there's like basically 22 to 30 ways we find money for people. Right. Several years ago, I found that property tax, the county took the property tax, and if you overpaid it, they didn't give it back. And they would put on the website, you know, your name, you overpaid it. You know, you think, why didn't they just send this back a check? You know, but I wonder why. So I found this, and I couldn't believe that people didn't know it. I didn't know it. So I took 40 of the people on that list. I wrote them a letter. And anybody that had over $2,000 sitting there, I thought, well, they don't know this. I didn't know it. I'm just going to send them a letter and ask them to call me, and I'll tell them how to get the paperwork and how to do it. No one called. I thought, this can't be right. I mean, I even put in the letter, you have thousands of dollars sitting in a government office. I want to help you get that. No cost. Call me, I'll explain what I'm talking about. No one called. So I thought, okay, I'm going to mail a certified letter to the same 40 people. Certified letter with a return receipt.
Yeah, that's serious.
I got the receipt signed by all 40 people. They got the letter, and one person called me, which we then helped them get that money back from that property tax. Steve, 39 people signed the thing, read the letter. They had $2,000 plus sitting there and didn't even bother to call our office. That's the dysfunction of our society. They don't believe anybody. And so, you know, we found that people still hold that in all these areas as well. They just don't follow through. They don't believe it's really real, but we offer them a chance for free to experience what you've experienced. There's no cost for this. In fact, we offer it to all of our partners through the Team Revolution because we want them out of debt. And so we offer to them free this plan, as well as anyone viewing today can have it by going to our website. And Steve, you can talk to Steve personally, and he can help you go through the data, and he can help you find money. And you know, I call it a treasure hunt.
Yeah.
It's fun to find money you didn't think you had.
It absolutely is.
So Steve, any final closing comments you'd want to tell someone listening today about the journey that you came through and what you'd like to see for their life?
I will do anything I can to keep anyone who calls in from having to walk through the literal hell on earth that Mindy and I walked through. They just have to make the call. They just have to participate. That's the critical thing. If they provide us the data, they understand that it's not just practical knowledge. Right. It's not just spiritual. A lot of times we get folks that just want to do the spiritual part or just want to do the practical. Right. But if they're going to submit to the process, they're going to apply themselves, they're going to get in there, let us help them. We'll take them step by step through this process. God's no respecter of person, and they are going to be able to have the exact same story that we have. And that's so important because your story is an amazing story. It caught our attention. Our story might be amazing to somebody else. It catches their attention.
Right.
But the most important story that I care about out there is the story of the person who's watching today.
That's right.
Because they're going to be the story, the evidence of the kingdom in their life, where they live.
And that's why we do Fixing the Money thing. It's about your story. We want to see you free. Go to GaryXC.com and get the information. You'll see some information on the screen about how you can reach Steve, and we would love to help you. Also, a lot of material. You've heard Steve mention some of that. There's a lot of material there that'll help you understand the kingdom of God, how the kingdom operates, the things you need to do to get your life in the right order and on the right path where you'll find freedom. GaryXC.com. We'll see you next time right here on Fixing the Money Thing.
Fixing the Money Thing is brought to you by the Ford Financial Group and Lindsay Honda and Acura of Columbus. Today's resources from Fixing the Money Thing are designed to revolutionize your financial life, start you living the life God has planned, and of course, fix your money thing. Are you living your dream? Or is debt causing you to trade your joy for paying the creditors? Then it's time for a financial revolution.
Are you in debt or living paycheck to paycheck? Then I would suggest you may need a financial revolution.
Today's package starts with the all-new Financially Free Workbook, a practical how-to guide filled with step-by-step instructions for collecting the data you need for your free Get Out of Debt plan, forms, and worksheets. The kit also includes a DVD from Gary, walking you through the workbook steps to financial freedom.
This workbook will take you step by step through the process to get your family free.
You can't truly experience success if you're burdened by debt. Call, write, or go to GaryCassie.com, and for only $29, get the financially free workbook and a new CD from Gary Cassie. In Your Answer is in the Kingdom, you can learn to live a life full of provision, free from debt, where you're able to be generous on every occasion. Your answers are in the kingdom of God.
The Bible clearly says that we are to be the lenders, not the borrowers, the head, not the tail, and that there must be something we're missing.
You just need to know how His kingdom operates and how to walk in it.
The answer is Luke chapter 6, verse 20. It's your answer too. Blessed are you who are poor, for yours is the kingdom of God.
Join Gary as he shares this powerful message on CD, full of stories, humor, personal experiences, and scriptures that illustrate the practical and proven principles you need to understand how to unlock the kingdom in your life. Get ready to have your eyes open to what it really means to live in the kingdom of God.
Until you stop the debt trap and stop living according to the world system, you're not going to be free.
Call 888-391-LIFE. That's 888-391-5433. Visit GaryCassie.com or write to Faith Life Now, P.O. Box 779, New Albany, Ohio 43054 to order the Financial Revolution Package, financially free workbook, instructional DVD, and Your Answer is in the Kingdom message for only $29 or more in support of Faith Life Ministries. Remember, God's system isn't instant. Success in the kingdom of God happens one small decision at a time. Make the decision to give yourself the best possible start toward achieving financial success. Don't waste any time. Call, write, or log on now to get your financially free resources to help you destroy debt and start living free. When you need God's help, prayer is always the answer. Pastor Gary understands and wants to help. That's why he has caring friends standing by 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, ready to pray with you. No matter what you're facing, there is hope. Call and let's agree together. Caring prayer partners are available faithfully any time of the day or night. You can also leave your prayer request at GaryCassie.com. Just click and know someone will be agreeing with you in prayer for your need to be met. Come experience Faith Life Church for yourself. Every weekend, Faith Life Church offers 5 services with times to meet your schedule. Join us at Faith Life Church. Located on the east side of Columbus, Faith Life Church meets in the Now Center and offers something for every age. If you can't make it to a service, join us through our new website with live streaming and access to past services as well. Visit faithlifechurch.org. Partner with Gary. Stay up to date with everything at Faith Life Now. Check out Gary and Drenda's speaking schedule and lots more at GaryCassie.com. Your gifts and partnership make fixing the money thing possible. Today's show is a presentation of Faith Life Now.